NFL Week 9 predictions. Got the Colts versus Jets. Colts come off a close overtime loss to the Titans, where Jets a super surprising win over the Bengals. The Jets' new QB, I don't remember his name, but he did really well against the Bengals. The Jets team looked much better with him than Wilson. The Colts, Carson Wentz looked good, but he kind of choked at the end when he threw that pick six. But overall, he still looked good in the Colts uniform. Jets, they did have a good game versus the Bengals, but I don't see it lasting against the Colts, whose defense is pretty good. So I have the Colts winning. But the Bengals versus Browns, this is going to be a good game. Browns coming off a loss against the Steelers, not the greatest. It was not a pretty game. The Bengals just lost to the Jets. They really shouldn't have lost to it, even though they did play pretty good versus them. This one's going to be close. Currently, the Baker Mayfield's very inconsistent and they're injured, so I have the Bengals winning and bouncing back from that loss against the Jets. Got the Dolphins versus the Texans, 2-1-17 tank ball. And the Texans, David Mills has played decent so far, but their team has just been trash. Dolphins team is also pretty trash. Um, Dolphins, they do have some talent though. They held Bills to 3 points in halftime, and this one's just gonna be an ugly game. I have the Dolphins eventually winning. I have the Jaguars versus Bills. Jaguars are gonna get blown out by the Seahawks. The Bills woke up in the second half against the Dolphins and beat them, even though the game was ugly, especially their offense in the first half. But this is one of the worst teams and one of the best. The Bills are gonna blow out the Jaguars. You got the Cowboys versus the Broncos. Broncos haven't looked good on a 4 losing streak, maybe 5 if they lose to a football team. The Cowboys have looked good so far. They play on Sunday night, so I have not seen them watch yet. I have not seen them play yet. Um, Dak Prescott, I don't know if they're out during this game, and I don't know who their backup is, but they still have a very talented offense, and their defense isn't terrible, and they play in Dallas, and I have the Cowboys winning. Then you got the Giants versus the Raiders. Giants play on Monday night against the Chiefs, while Raiders, despite firing Gruden, they're 5-2 and looking good, and they're coming off a bye. I have the Raiders winning. Then got the Panthers versus the Patriots. Very interesting game. Panthers, they beat the Falcons, but still did not look good versus them. And then the Patriots are currently in a tight matchup against the Chargers. Sam Darnold has not played well against the Patriots at all. And Chris McCaffrey, I don't think he's back this game. And their defense has looked good so far, but their offense has not. And I don't think Sam Darnold does well against the Patriots defense, so the Patriots winning. But the Ravens versus the Vikings. Ravens are coming off a bye. Vikings play on Sunday night. Vikings are actually a pretty good team, and I can easily see them winning against Cowboys on Sunday night in Week 8. But the Ravens, despite being injured, they still win, and they're coming off a bye and playing in Baltimore, so I have the Ravens winning. But the Eagles versus Chargers, Eagles just blew out the Lions, while the Chargers are currently in a tight match against the Patriots. Eagles look good versus Detroit though, but other games they have not, and the Chargers have just been one of the better teams in the AFC so far. So I have the Chargers winning. Then you have the Chiefs versus the Packers. Chiefs defense has been terrible so far. Mahomes has thrown a lot of picks and hasn't played as well as he did in the last couple of years. While the Packers, they have been keep on winning. Their defense is injured but has not been terrible. And Aaron Rodgers is his usual self, so the Packers winning. Then got the Rams versus the Titans, probably the game of the week. Titans are hot after beating the Colts, Chiefs, and Bills, who all made the playoffs last year. And the Rams came off the beating of Houston, and they just blew them out. And the Rams, they have a good defense, and Matthew Stafford is playing great so far. And the Titans, Derrick Henry, even though he didn't have a great game versus the Colts, they still won. And this one's going to be close, and I can very well see the Titans winning, but I think the safer pick here is the Rams, so I have the Rams winning. The Steelers versus the Bears. Justin Fields did do a few good things against the 49ers, but they still lost. The Steelers playing defensive football, and Mayfield will not have a good game versus that defense. The Steelers' offense is still questioned. I still have questions about them, but the Bears' offense isn't much better, and I think the Steelers have a better defense than the Bears. This is going to be a very ugly, low-scoring game. I have eventually the Steelers winning. The Saints versus the Falcons. Saints are currently actually blowing out the or beating the Buccaneers, and the Falcons just lost at Panthers. Saints, I don't think Jameis Winston will be playing here, but his backup, like Seaman, is playing well against the Bucks. I have the Saints winning. Then got the 49ers versus the Cardinals. Cardinals did not do great against the Packers. Their offense was unexplosive, and their defense couldn't stop the Packers' long drives. The 49ers look much better against the Bears, and even in the Bears' defense are pretty good. And this one's also going to be close. Cardinals, Kyler Murray is injured right now, and hopefully they don't collapse like last year after Murray got injured. But still, the last game the 49ers played against the Cardinals, they managed to shut down Kyler Murray's offense. I think this time they're starting Garoppolo, they might win. So I have the 49ers pulling off the upset against the Cardinals. And there you have it, my Week 9 NFL prediction.